Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Nemi Effy. If you've been here before, welcome back, and if you've not been here before, hi. Make sure you subscribe to this channel for more natural hair content. So in today's video, we'll be talking about hair porosity. So before we define hair porosity and every other information, I would just like to say that hair porosity is something that you should know if you want to enjoy your natural hair journey. It will help you determine the kind of products to use, the kind of products to buy, how to use your products, and what kind of hair care method will be best for you. So now that I've gotten that out of my system, let's define what hair porosity is. So hair porosity is how well your hair absorbs moisture, absorbs products, your oil, your water, your conditioner, and how well your hair retains moisture. So that's just the simple and basic definition of hair porosity. Your hair's ability to absorb moisture and to retain that moisture. Now let's talk about the types of hair porosity. There are 3 types of hair porosity. You have low porosity, medium porosity, and high porosity. Now before I talk about these 3 different types of hair porosity, I just want to explain 2 terms that I will be using while talking about the types of hair porosity. So these terms are hair shaft and hair cuticle. So what is your hair shaft? So hair shaft, first of all, our hair as a whole is made up of strands. Now for every strand, that strand of hair is your hair shaft basically. And then the outer layer is the hair cuticle. The hair cuticle is like a scale-like material that coats our hair shaft. So the hair shaft is our strand as a whole. The cuticle is coating the hair shaft. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense to you, but yes. So now our hair shaft needs all that moisture, and our hair cuticle determines the amount of moisture that goes into our hair shaft. So the arrangement of your hair cuticle is what determines whether you have low porosity, medium porosity, or high porosity hair. So now let's define these types of hair porosity. Let's talk about them for a while. So let's talk about low porosity. So first of all, low porosity hair, the cuticles are tightly packed. The cuticles are close to each other, so it makes it very difficult for moisture to enter into the hair shaft, and it makes it hard to retain moisture also. If you have low porosity hair, you would observe that when you apply products on your hair, it takes time for your hair to absorb that product, especially for products that may, okay, let's say for example a conditioner, something that is white, you can see it here. You put a conditioner on your hair, it just sits there for a while before it gets into your hair. Sometimes it's not even moving. You have to use heat. I will talk about this in a different video. I will talk about how to care for every type of hair porosity, how to care for your hair depending on your type of porosity. So that's low porosity hair. It's hard for you to take in moisture. It's hard for you to absorb moisture. It's hard for your hair to dry. Life is not just so very easy for people with low porosity hair. So that's it for low porosity hair. For low porosity hair, it's hard for you to absorb moisture because your cuticles are tightly packed. So it's difficult for moisture to enter into your hair shaft. So now let's talk about medium porosity. For medium porosity, this type of hair porosity is like, it's perfect. The cuticles are well spaced. You are taking in the right amount of moisture and you are retaining moisture. For those of you with normal hair porosity, wow, you are really enjoying life. Normal porosity is just it's perfect. It's called normal porosity because it's doing the normal thing. It's taking in the right amount of moisture and you are retaining moisture for a good amount of time before you have to re-moisturize. Now let's talk about high porosity. For high porosity, it's easy for your hair to take in moisture, but at the same time it's also easy for moisture to leave your hair. This is because the cuticles are far apart, so moisture enters very fast into the hair shaft, but it also goes out very fast, which is the disadvantage of high porosity. So I hope that I've been able to explain these 3 types of hair porosity very well. So I would also like to add that depending on the amount of heat you use on your hair, depending on how often you use chemicals on your hair, like maybe for those who relax their hair or for those who dye their hair, these chemicals can change your hair porosity. For example, if you are somebody with low porosity hair, you know your cuticles are tightly packed. So when you use all these chemicals on your hair, when you dye your hair and all of that, it can damage your cuticles and it may make you seem like you have high porosity hair because your cuticles are like somehow damaged. So products now enter your hair faster, products enter your hair better. So this is just a factor that can, you know, change your hair porosity. So hair porosity is subject to change depending on how we care for our hair. So I'm going to be showing you how to test for your hair porosity. Now you know what hair porosity is all about. You know the types of hair porosity. Now how do you know what kind of porosity that you have? I'll be showing you guys that in a moment because there are different ways that you can test for your hair porosity. This first test is called a float test. You're going to take some strands of hair, make sure that they are clean, and put them inside a jar of water. Now, while it's in this water, you're going to observe it. You're going to observe your hair strands closely. Now, if your hair is low porosity, after about 5-10 minutes, you will see that the hair would remain on top, remain in the surface of the water, just floating. If you have medium porosity, it would sink, but not totally to the bottom. And for high porosity, your hair would sink down to the bottom or almost to the bottom of the container or the jar. So that is the first type of test. This second test is called a strand test. You're going to take some strands of hair and you're going to feel your hair, run your fingers from the end to the root. Now, if it feels bumpy, it shows that your hair is high porosity because your cuticles are raised above the hair shaft. Now, if it is smooth, that means your hair is low or normal porosity because the cuticles are laying flat. This last test is called absorption test. For this test, you're going to be applying products on your hair and see how fast your hair absorbs the product. For me, I'm using my conditioner. I would advise that you use a product that will be visible so that you know if your hair has absorbed it or not. So I am applying my leave-in conditioner on my hair on a particular section and trying my best to spread it as evenly as possible. Now that I have applied the product, I'm just going to sit down for about 5 to 10 minutes and just observe. Observe to see how well my hair is absorbing this product. If after 5 to 10 minutes you observe that the product was absorbed by your hair very fast, that means you have high porosity hair. And if the product was absorbed at a fair rate, that means you have medium porosity. And if the product just sits on your hair for a long period of time before it is completely absorbed, then you have low porosity, just like me. So thank you for watching this video this far. I hope that this video has been helpful in educating you on hair porosity and how to test for hair porosity. I'll see you in my next video. Make sure that you like, comment and subscribe to this channel. Bye.